represent over 100 languages and cultures. We welcome people of all religions, faiths, and creeds. We honor all genders, races, orientations, and status. And here, we defend immigrants.
And that's the problem. Really, basically everything she just said, that's the problem. Joining me now, William Wolfe, Executive Director at the Center for Baptist Leadership. Hey, William, would you give us a little refresher on the Tower of Babel?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on here. So in Genesis, a bunch of people get together and they want to build a tower to heaven. They're essentially trying to make themselves God. And God doesn't like that, of course, because God is God. And so God comes down, and as part of a curse on these people to prevent them, he confuses their languages so they can't communicate and they're scattered. It is a curse, and it led, quite frankly, to the nations that we know today.
Okay, William, we have this mass importation of foreigners into this country. It's been going on for decades. It wasn't just Joe Biden. He just turned it into overdrive. And now we have politicians in places like New York City campaigning for everybody but Americans. They say it in their victory speeches. Abigail Spanberger in Virginia. We have interview after interview. Well, I just got here from Kenya, and I think she's the best. How in the world did our politicians, Democrat and Republican, allow this to happen?
Yeah, well, this is really the fruits of what you could call the post-war consensus and open borders globalism. We decided that strong national identities were dangerous and that we needed to embark upon national programs to prevent them from ever solidifying again. And so America and the West, quite frankly, has been intentionally flooded by mass replacement migration to weaken and destabilize particularly the white Western Christian populations of Europe and America and recreate the third world. And the philosophy undergirding so much of this is anti-colonialism, which is just sort of a global form of wokeness. It's the idea that these colonial invaders are finally getting what's coming to them. We're going to colonize them now, except it won't be coherent. It will be 100 languages, 100 ethnicities, 100 races, and New York City is going to look like Mumbai.
But aren't we supposed to have a Republican Party? It's been around for my entire 44 years on this planet. Aren't we supposed to have a Republican Party that opposes such things? I understand Democrats are the scum of the earth and they want this stuff, but I constantly vote for people who I think will oppose it. So why do we have it?
Yeah, well, that's a great question, Jesse. I mean, I think until really the rise of MAGA and America First and Donald Trump, and this is one of the things I love about Trump. You go back and you watch his videos, back in the 90s, he has been pro-America and Americans first for decades. But the Republican Party, captured by the Chamber of Commerce interests and NGOs, et cetera, they viewed the importation of the third world fundamentally as good for our economics. Green line goes up, even as our demographics descend into madness. And I think we're finally shaking off some of that inclination from the Republican Party, but it's still going to be a long fight.
There's a video, it's a couple years old, but it's making the rounds again, of an imam. Here he is.
One day you're going to be the president of the United States of America. No one, go Michael Ali, who can stop you from becoming a president. Dream big, have a vision. Change is coming to America. Let's work towards a Muslim mayor. Next election that comes in, nominate people for the school board of education. Next election that comes here, nominate people for the local township. Begin the demographics change. The other thing, children. Muslims have the highest population. Average, they did Pew Foundation did a research study, Pew Foundation, and they said that Muslim household average is 3.4 child per family. The white American has 1 child per family. We're already beating the march because these are voters. These are not just babies being born in hospitals. These are voters. That's the way a politician looks at it. We have to change the framework and start looking at things from a different lens, different angle for future.
William, they're very honest about it. These videos, like we could play 3 hours of these videos and you and I could riff about it, but they're very honest about it. Yet the West, specifically the Christian West, won't stand up and say no. Why?
Yeah, so the Muslim population in the United States of America has tripled since 9/11. To say that we forgot the lessons that we should have learned that day would be an overstatement. And when you dig into the pollings, one of the most important things for all the Muslim immigrants coming to the United States, whether they vote Republican or Democrat, which most of them do vote Democrat, is that America stays open to increased immigration. And really what's happened here, Jesse, and I'm a Christian theologian and a political commentator as well, is that we have lost the will to fight for the Christian West and bought into the lie that all religions are equal and there's no difference. But the historical record proves that wrong. The Christians have been fighting against Muslims for decades, and they haven't stopped, even if they're going about it differently today.
Are the churches starting to wake up? I'm sure you and I could riff for a while about the feminization of America's churches and what they had become, but is that starting to change? Are churches starting to find their footing, especially in the wake of things like Charlie Kirk's martyrdom?
Well, I certainly hope they are, and that's what we're working for here at Center for Baptist Leadership. The Great Commission in Matthew 28, before Jesus leaves his disciples, this is really important. It says, therefore go into all the nations. It does not say, therefore welcome all the nations to you. The church has had really bad political theology on the importance of nation states for the last many decades. But I do think that is changing, particularly as what's unfolding in Europe is happening before our eyes. You have to bury your head in the sand as a Christian pastor and say, yes, we want more Muslims in our country, because what's happening in Nigeria right now, the deadliest nation on earth for Christians right now because of the Fulani Islamic terrorists, it could happen here in the United States in a few short decades. So I think, yes, they are waking up some, but there's a lot of work left to do on that front as well.
William, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.